So, I hear you're unemployed. No one will hire you, the job market is confusing, especially in this economy, and you have 10 different documents all labeled resume. But don't worry, because I have some helpful job search tips that are going to help you find a job and land some interviews. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Mara. I'm back with a new video. Try to get my most professional outfit on today. We got the oversized $7 thrifted blazer because in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 job search tips. Am I employed right now? No, but that's besides the point. If you didn't already know, I'm a senior in college and I graduate in 2 months. The past couple of months I have been diligently applying to and searching for a job for after graduation. I have been interviewing and some things are in the works, so that just proves that these tips I'm going to be telling you do work. Also, these are just things that help to me in my experience, but feel free to comment down below any tips that you have and we can help each other out. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing you gotta do is look for jobs. So my best friend has been LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn like a social media basically. I check LinkedIn probably more than I check Instagram. It's really important to have a strong LinkedIn profile, especially nowadays since recruiters are using LinkedIn profiles on looking online to really get to know people and kind of like their first step to screening people. You should definitely have a picture on your LinkedIn profile. You should definitely have a bio. You should have all of your skills up to date, all of your experiences with little bios of what you did in those jobs and in those experiences. So make sure you keep your LinkedIn profile up to date, connect with people that you know, build your online network. You can also use Handshake, which a lot of universities kind of have for free to join. I'm not sure if you have to pay for it separately, but Handshake is another one. You can also just search on Google to find jobs. Now, once you get your search, I recommend you filter by keywords, preferences, maybe the area that you want to live in. That's going to help you narrow down your search. Also, make sure to search different names for the same job. For example, I've been applying to a lot of social media manager positions, and a lot of times that is social media coordinator or community manager or account manager. You wouldn't really know that all of those different titles point to the same job until you look at the job description, and once you do a couple of searches you can sort of figure that out. So use those keywords to also help you look for jobs. Now, when you're applying to jobs, it can be helpful to keep track of all the jobs you're applying to. Personally, I created a spreadsheet on Google Sheets. It helps me keep track of all the jobs I am applying to. I also keep different tabs for jobs that I'm currently applying to or applied to. I color code the jobs that I've applied to in blue, and then the ones in white are ones that I want to get to applying to. I keep track of the company, the job title, the location, the link to the job, so that if I end up getting an interview, I can go back to the job description and look at what the requirements are, what the description is asking. You can customize these columns however you want. It's important to keep track of application requirements because sometimes it's not just filling out an application online. Sometimes it's emailing somebody a resume or attaching additional paperwork or something like that. And I like to keep a column of any personal contacts that I have. We're going to talk a little bit later about how important it is to network and who you know, but it's important to keep track of your contacts as well. I also have another tab of jobs that I was accepted for, or maybe I'm interviewing with them or something, so that's also important to see what you have in progress. And then sometimes you do get rejection emails, so I like to keep track of jobs that I was rejected from so that I know not to apply to them again, or I just keep that in mind if I do want to apply to them again that I did get rejected. Now, when you go to apply for jobs, I really recommend to have different versions of your resumes and different cover letter templates. So your resume is basically a sheet of paper. I personally keep mine to 1 page, but if you have a lot of experience or if you're older, you can have it longer. Just telling them your experience, what you did at your prior jobs. It highlights all of your skills and what you're able to do. So I think it's important to have different versions because you might be applying to different jobs that need different skills. This is what I mean. So let's say I'm applying to a marketing management or marketing strategy job. That's going to need a lot more management, strategy skills, and it might even highlight specific software skills. Whereas if I'm applying to a social media coordinator position, it's going to require me to have knowledge of all the social media platforms and content creation and skills with Final Cut, video editing, and things like that. All of that information doesn't always fit onto your resume at once, and when you're applying to certain jobs, some skills are relevant and some skills are irrelevant. So if you have different versions of your resume sort of prepared for all of those different jobs or skill sets that you're applying to, it can make it a lot easier for you. So for example, I have my general resume, which has most of all of my information. I have a social media resume that kind of highlights all of my social media experience. I have like an email marketing resume that highlights my email experience. And if you have all of those ready, all you have to do is attach the correct one to the respective job. Similar thing goes with cover letters. If you have certain cover letters geared towards the same position, all you have to do is sort of create a template, and then once you want to apply to a specific job, you can take your cover letter template on that topic and you can just kind of change some of the information to reflect keywords from the job description. Keywords are super important, especially nowadays when most of the applying we're doing is online. So a lot of jobs, a lot of companies kind of have an automatic algorithm that goes through your resume or your cover letter, and it looks for specific keywords that are in the job description. So if your application doesn't have that, more often than not, you're going to be rejected automatically. You're going to get an automated email. So definitely take a look at the job description. Try to pick out those important keywords and put as many of them as you can into your resume and your cover letter. You definitely want to use your templates that you have, but try to customize them to the job and to that specific job description, because that's how you're going to stand out. My next tip is definitely to network. I actually got this tip from a former manager of mine, and it has changed the game for me applying to jobs. I've had a couple networking calls every single week since I started, and networking is really important because a lot of the times for getting jobs, that's how you stand out. The people that you know can get your foot into the door, or a lot of times there's like a whole stack of resumes on somebody's table, and if you know somebody in the company that can put in a good word for you, then your resume gets taken out of the stack and actually looked at. So a lot of the times resumes don't even get looked at, applications don't get seen, but if you know somebody, that's when they can actually get seen and get noticed. And the way that you do this is look at your own network. Talk to your former bosses, former teammates, former managers, people you went to college with, people that you went to high school with, just people you know. And also LinkedIn is huge help for this too, because you can go to, let's say, your old manager's profile on LinkedIn, just look at who their connections are, and if you see somebody that works in a position or at a company that you want to work at, then you can reach out to your connection and say, hey, I'm doing my job search, I'm really interested in this person's position, would you be able to give me an introduction? So that is really helpful, because then you can talk to that person. You might not necessarily get a job out of it, but at least you get information, at least you've expanded your network, and then they can connect you to a couple people that they know that could potentially help you. My manager said to do 70% of networking and 30% of applying to jobs. Since I've done these networking calls, I've gained a lot of information on jobs, certain skills that jobs need, and also just like experiences at companies. People from within can really give you that insider information. For example, I was talking to somebody who went to my college and they worked at this company that I wanted to apply to. They were telling me that the HR team like tracks what jobs you apply to if they're in certain categories. So that's really good information for me to know for when I'm applying, so that I make sure that I stick to the category that I really want to go in and that I'm cognizant of that information. Another thing with networking is to keep track of when you talk to these people, you're actually making connections. You're not just talking to them to get something out of them. So make sure that you follow up. Make sure maybe you give them updates. Oh, thanks so much for talking to me. I actually got an interview and I wanted to get your advice. Or thanks so much for connecting me to this person. I had a great call with them. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. These are real people and you want to treat them as such, so make sure that you follow up with them and stay connected, keep a relationship with them. It might be scary to network and reach out to people that you barely know, but more often than not, I found that people are willing to help and they're willing to talk to you. And also, what do you really have to lose? All they can do is say no, and then you move on to somebody else who will say yes. So networking is definitely worth the risk. If you're shy or if you're nervous, definitely take the chance. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. A lot of times also with networking, people will tell me, even though they've met me once, from a 30-minute conversation, they'll tell me to put their name down as a reference. So a lot of times on job applications, if you have an internal reference, that can also boost your application. Bottom line, networking is super, super important, and it can be the difference between getting your resume looked at, getting an interview, or just getting your foot in the door. And the last tip I have for you for now is to not take rejections personally. I get like 3 to 5 automated rejection emails a day at this point. Like, I'm just used to it, but that's just part of the job process. I truly believe that if it is meant for you, it will be for you. Like, you'll get it. Nothing can stand in your way, nothing can take it away from you. So don't dwell on jobs that you got rejected from, because that'll only waste your time and hold you back from applying to and striving for the job that you will get eventually. A lot of the times you don't know why you got rejected. You could have been the perfect person in your mind, but you don't see the other applicants and you don't know what the company's goals are exactly. I feel like there's so many external factors from just you being like the perfect candidate that often come into play. For example, education level, background, or when they want you to start, or maybe somebody has a connection that you don't have. So you don't really know why you weren't picked for the job, but you can also ask. This is something that my sister told me about that I didn't know, but you can email somebody that you had an interview with. Even if you get an automated rejection, or if you get a rejection email from them, you can email them and say, "Hi, thank you so much for interviewing me. I just wanted to ask for any feedback on why I didn't get the job so that I can move forward and improve." And I think that shows a lot of maturity, and it shows that you really want to grow. It's kind of a good impression. So don't be afraid to reach out if you get rejected and ask for any feedback. Of course, you might feel upset that you're getting rejected from a job that you really wanted. So definitely, take your time to feel your feelings, but don't dwell on it too much, because it might not have anything to do with you, and that's just not the job for you. There's something else out there. You gotta brush yourself off and move on to continue applying. Sounds kind of ruthless, but I feel like with jobs, the more that you apply to, the better chance you have of like getting a job. So you kind of just have to take it impersonally and move on. But yeah, those are my top tips for how I'm job searching currently, how I stay organized, and any advice that I've gotten along the way that's been working out for me. I'd love to do a deeper dive into some of these topics, like networking, exactly how to do that, maybe resume review or LinkedIn profiles, and even talking about interviews, which we didn't really get too deep in today. So let me know, comment down below if you want me to do a deeper dive, make this a whole like job searching series. I'd be down. But I hope these tips helped you for now. Don't worry, for now we're unemployed together, but we're gonna get that bag soon, I promise you. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what other videos or topics or advice you have, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in my next video next week. Bye!